3, 4, and. Baby, if you ever wondered whatever became of me, I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, WKRP. Got kinda tired of backing and unpacking, town to town, up and down the dial. Well, maybe you and me were never meant to be. Just maybe think of me once in a while. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati. Okay, good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back. I am so sorry, folks. It's been quite some time since I've done a video here on my channel. Just stuff has gone crazy. Business is good around here, just teaching students and staying busy and just trying to keep everybody safe from the bad coronavirus. And in the meantime, one of my students up in New York City has made a request. He really likes this little tune, and it really is a lot of fun to play, and it's a good foundational tune if you're wanting to get into like some jazz playing without it being super complicated. You can always incorporate your major seventh chords, like up here in your bar chords and stuff like that, but really you can start in the first position and you can do some things to make this thing sound pretty legit, and it's still just a lot of fun. I want to say first, before we begin, I want to thank all those kind people who've been making comments and subscribing and all that stuff. It really does help, guys. I really do appreciate it. One other thing I'd like to ask you all to do is just take a moment to check out some of the playlists that I have here on the channel, particularly the Sung by Paula playlist and the covers playlist. That's just a little bit of music that we've done here on the channel, me and my wife, and we would really appreciate if you take the time to check that out. Also, another quick little announcement, we're going to be putting out some Christmas music that we recorded for some of our friends, and I wanted everybody to have a chance to listen to that, but I wanted to make sure my friends got the CDs we made for them of some of the stuff that we did. So be watching out for that sometime after Thanksgiving, and that would be great, guys. In the meantime, also, just remember to smash that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. We sure do appreciate all of that. So, my friend and student up in New York City, Carlos, has asked me to put together a little instructional on the theme from WKRP in Cincinnati, a great old television show in the 70s and 80s. Okay, so, basically it changes key once on the second verse. Well, actually there's like a longer version which changes keys a couple of different times, but the version of the song that you heard for the show only changes keys like one time and covers basically the first verse of the song, which is what we're going to cover today, is the version that you heard at the opening of the show. And of course this is a great time of year to be doing this because WKRP in Cincinnati has one of the best Thanksgiving episodes on all of television. The funniest thing you ever saw. If you have a chance to check it out, it's called Turkeys Away, and it is one of the funniest episodes of television I have ever seen in my entire life. Just absolutely ingenious stuff by those guys. Alright, anyway, here we go. We're going to talk a little bit about how to play the theme song to WKRP in Cincinnati. Alright, so we started here with a D major 7th chord. You have an E minor chord. You can do a few things to that to make it different. You can make an E minor 7th or just a straight E minor, and you can make an A or an A dominant 7th chord. We're going to talk about how to make all three of those for the first half of the verse, starting with D major 7th, which is, now if you don't want to fool with all that and you just want to use straight chords, you can always just play D, E minor, and A, just in the standard forms. D, E minor, and A. So, let me just show you that. You can do this with just regular chords. You can just use substitutions. Baby, if you ever wondered whatever became of me, I'm living on the air in Cincinnati. it goes on like that. So you can just use simplified chords like that and to get you through the song. But we're going to go ahead and talk about the D major 7, which is your index finger over the 2nd fret of your E, B, and G strings like that. It makes a pretty little chord. You just bar the first 3 strings, play the D string open, so it's the D string open, the G, B, and E all barred with the index finger on the 2nd fret like that. Okay, then into the next chord where we change, you can play just a straight E minor chord that works just fine, which I'm sure we all know an E minor chord by now. Middle finger and ring finger on the 2nd frets of A and D. Okay, and if you're not sure, again, I say this in just about every video, there are plenty of resources on the internet on how to play these simple versions of these chords. Now, to make an E minor 7th chord, there are a few different ways you can do that. You can either pick up the ring finger and play just one note here on the 2nd fret of the A string, and that makes one derivative of the E minor 7th chord. Another way is to take your pinky from this one finger derivative. You can just take your pinky and put it on the 3rd fret of B. So you have the open E, 2nd fret of A, open D, and open G, 3rd fret of B, making a B note there, and then your open E, and you have another derivative of the E minor 7th chord. Or you can make a full E minor chord with your ring and middle finger on the 2nd fret, placing your pinky on the 3rd fret of B. So it goes open E, 2nd fret A, 2nd fret D, open G, 3rd fret with your pinky on B, and open E. So what we want to practice is this: D major 7 to E minor 7, or simply D major 7 to E minor, D major 7 to E minor, or E minor 7, whichever you prefer. Now, the easiest chord, and really does add some depth to this particular arrangement, is when you make an A dominant 7. You can make a straight garden variety A chord with your 3 fingers, ring, middle, and index on the 2nd fret of B, G, and D like that. That works. That definitely is not a problem. But if you want to add a little bit of spice to this arrangement and make it sound a little bit more sophisticated and a little bit more subtle in the chord changes, take your index finger and your middle finger. Put your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the B string there. Put your index finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. 2nd fret D, 2nd fret B, everything else is open. So, the chords in the first half of the verse are D major 7, E minor 7. You're going to see I'm going to use different varieties of that, or just a straight E minor. And then A dominant 7, 2 fingers, and then back to your D major 7 again. So it goes, baby, if you ever wonder, going to the E minor, then to your A, wondered whatever became of, back to your D, me, and then staying on the D major 7, I'm living on the air in Cincinnati. On the word Cincinnati, you're going to hit your E minor chord or your E minor 7, whichever one you prefer. And then your A7, Cincinnati, WKRP. And now it's going to change key abruptly, and we're going to do a little bit of fancy footwork. We're going to make an E flat major 7, and then you're going to go to an F minor, and then we're going to go to a B flat. And by the way, I think I've said this in previous videos, I have a tendency to cheat my bar chords a little bit. Got kinda tired of packing and unpacking, town to town, up and down the dial. So we're going to talk about how to do those chords. We're going to do an E flat major 7, which is basically like your D major 7, but it's going to be the 3rd fret of your E, B, and G strings with your pinky. Now you could, by the way, Some people call this the triad approach. You could just hit these three, and that would work. You could do that, and you get the basic building blocks of an E flat major 7 chord, and it works. But to give that a little more depth, after you've barred these 3 strings with your pinky, take your index finger and put it on your D string on the 1st fret to catch this E flat note to give it that foundation that you need. So it goes index finger on the 1st fret of D, pinky on the 3rd fret of G, B, and E. Like that. So that would make you a very simple E flat major 7th chord. Of course, you can do that way up the neck in a position like this, but we're trying to save ourselves that hassle right now because we're still learning basic 1st position chords. So then we're going to go to an F minor chord because that's what we need next. We could do an F minor 7th, but I would rather just make it kind of simple. The index finger is going to be on the 1st fret of E, B, and G, like that, and your ring finger is going to be on the D string. So 3, 1, 1, 1. And just simply go 1, 1, 1, 3. Index, 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 ring for your F minor chord. And then finally, I do have a tendency to cheat on chords like this. This would be a full bar B flat. You can do it like this, straight down, with your index finger across your 1st fret, pinky, middle, and ring on your 3rd fret, and making a B flat bar chord. But we're going to make this a little bit easier on ourselves today. We're going to take, now this is tricky, but it's a little bit easier than doing it with a full bar chord. But what I like to do is take my pinky, my ring, my middle finger, just like I was doing. Actually, no, that's for the full bar chord. Let me get this right. What I'm going to do is take my pinky and lay it across my B, my G, and my D strings in the 3rd fret, trying to avoid hitting the top E string. And then I'm going to take my index finger and bar across the 1st fret, and I get this. We just stay away from that top E, or we just kind of try to mute it as best we can. It's kind of tricky. Now there's another way to make a B flat chord, which is to take your pinky, your ring, and your middle finger, just like you're going to make a full bar chord, but take your index finger, put it on the 1st fret here, and that makes the 1st fret of the E string, I should say, and that makes a full B flat major chord. Okay, either way you choose to do it, with the cheating bar, which is what I do, or the full bar like this, or with an index finger on the 1st fret of the E and then the pinky, ring, and middle on the 3rd fret. Either way that you do it, you get a B flat major chord. And that is how we're going to deal with the key change when we go into the 2nd half of the verse. So we're going to start off like this with the E major 7. Got kinda tired of packing and done. On the word packing, you're going to have the F minor chord, packing. And then you're going to go down to B flat, town to town, up and down the dial. And then you stay on that E flat major 7. Maybe you and me were never. And then your F minor, meant to be. Then you're back to your B flat again. Just maybe think of me once in a while. Now I cheat totally right here, and I make kind of a C sharp major 7 kind of triad like we talked about before. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati. So I'm going to go to the 1st fret of your E, B, and G with my index finger. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati. So I'm going to do this whole thing again. I'm just going to strum through the chord. Okay, so I'm starting on D. We're going back to the first part before we change key. We're going back to the the D major 7. Baby, if you ever wondered, that's E minor right there. A7. Wondered whatever became of me. Back to your D major 7. Stay there. I'm living on the air in Cincinnati. Go to your E minor or your E minor 7. Then you go to your A dominant, your A dominant 7. Cincinnati, WKRP. And then you change key. Got kinda tired of packing and unpacking. So you're going to your E flat major 7. Got kinda tired of packing and going to your F minor. Packing. Down to your B flat. Town to town, up and down the dial. And then stay on E flat major 7. Maybe you and me were never meant to be. Down to your B flat. Just maybe think of me once in a while. Now we're going to go to that's to your E flat major 7. Back to that thing I said, that in technical terms, that is actually a C sharp major 7. We're going back to the first fret for that. E, B, and G, index finger. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati. Very simple little version. Okay, I'm going to go through it one more time in its entirety like I did at the first of the video. I'm going to go back and do it in its entirety, kind of slow. Here we go. Baby, if you ever wondered whatever became of me. I'm living on the air in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, WKRP. Got kinda tired of packing and unpacking. Town to town, up and down the dial. Maybe you and me were never meant to be. Just maybe think of me once in a while. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati. Alright guys, that's a fun one. It really is. I like that one. And I'm just going to be totally honest with you. I also kind of love John Sebastian's theme to Welcome Back, Kotter. So maybe we'll do that one too. Alright guys, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to click the like button and do smash that subscribe button and notification bell as well. Please remember to check out those playlists I mentioned, especially the one called Sung by Paula. That's a particularly big project that we've been working on for the last couple of years, and we would love for y'all to hear us when we do some of our favorite music. Also, remember that Christmas playlist is coming out in just a little while. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.